You can call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
Nazim Sadykhov takes on Ismael Bonfim on the main card of this Saturday's UFC Fight Night card at the Apex in Las Vegas. And this is really good matchmaking in the lightweight division of the UFC. Both these guys very hard-hitting lightweights, young up-and-comers with a lot of potential. So I expect this to be a really good, fun fight for the fans. Ismael Bonfim doesn't have tons of experience in the UFC, but he does have a lot outside of the UFC. 20-4, he's 29, started fighting in, I think it was 2011, so 16-year-old dude fighting grown men. Been doing this for a long time, a lot longer than Sadykhov, which I'll get into. Best way I can describe Bonfim is just controlled chaos. A lot of pressure, a lot of speed, a lot of power in his strikes. Throws really good liver shots, really good body shots. Head kicks, guy can do it all, and very precise, a lot of power. Jiu-Jitsu black belt, him and his brother, so very high level black belt. Hasn't really shown it in the UFC, does have some submissions on his record, but from what I've seen, has a really good guillotine that he pulls, so very good all around type of fighter out of Brazil. Very well rounded, great cardio. We saw in what was his last fight with Vince Pichel, he was pushing a high pace, pushing forward the entire time, didn't look like he was slowing down at all. Great balance, solid takedown defense. Both these guys have really good takedown defense. I want to say around like the 75% ranking. So Nazim Sadykhov. Is that what? Yeah, Sadykhov. 9-1-1, 30 years old, pro since like 2018. So Bonfim's been a pro for about 7 years longer than him. He's got 24 fights compared to this guy's 11. So I think he's definitely, well, I know he's definitely going to have the experience advantage. Maybe not in the UFC. Sadykhov, this will be his 4th fight in the UFC, whereas Bonfim, this will be his 4th fight. So interesting little statistic there. But Sadykhov grew up doing judo, sambo. I think he immigrated to the USA from Azerbaijan back when he was like 7. But grew up doing, sambo, the Russian grappling, striking martial art, master of sport in hand-to-hand combat and sambo, jiu-jitsu black belt. So both these guys really highly touted. They're both, I think, 29 and 30, so not terribly old, but very accomplished in their own rights, good records. Again, very, very high potential with these guys. Sadykhov, primarily southpaw, will switch stances, a lot of forward pressure. So both these guys push forward very well. I would say that Bonfim is better on the back foot, though. Sadykhov's susceptible to leg kicks. We saw him getting spun around in his fight and getting really beat up kind of against, what was his name? Vakyslav Borshev in one of his last fights. But carries a lot of power, similar to Bonfim. Did gas a little bit in that fight, went for the finish in round 2 against Borshev. Was a 10-8 round, almost got him out of there, but did look like he kind of emptied the tank, so to speak, and was kind of hurting in the 3rd round, which I think is something we got to pay attention to, because I don't think Bonfim's going to gas like that. And also, he was dropped by Evan Elder in round 1, so decent chin on him. Haven't really seen Bonfim get hurt, but again, haven't seen Sadykhov get finished, and a lot of people get dropped. So I think both of them are pretty tough, good chins on them. I got to go with Bonfim in this one. I just think that everything that Sadykhov does, Bonfim does just as well, if not maybe a little bit better. He's more experienced. He's faster. I would say the power, I think they're both even on power, but if I had to pick one, I'd go with Bonfim. I just think he's the slightly better striker. I think he's got more finishing potential on the ground and on the feet. Always going for the kill. We saw that nasty flying KO over Terrence McKinney, and Terrence McKinney's no slouch. Both these guys have wins over Terrence McKinney, finished him actually. And I think that Bonfim's going to be able to push a higher pace, whether it goes to the ground or whether it stays on the feet. I think he's going to have the better cardio. I think he's got better experience. You look at his record. His only losses are to Benoit Saint Denis, where he didn't look good in that fight. He wasn't even defending the choke. Not really sure what he was doing, but it's Benoit Saint Denis. He's one of the best in the world. Before that, he lost to Renato Moicano back in 2014. So almost 10 years, only losses to Benoit Saint Denis, fighting very good guys. Before that, one of his first losses was to Adriano Moraes, who, if you follow One Championship, you know who he is. Beat Demetrius Johnson once. So very high level talent that he's fighting and beating. Vince Pichel, he's an old guy, but very talented, very tough. He beat him for 3 rounds. And before that, before he lost to Benoit Saint Denis, Terrence McKinney, this guy Nariman Abasov that he beat in the Contender Series, who's 28-3 at the time, just just one of those Russian guys nobody's heard of that's really good with a crazy good record. And then these other guys, 12-2, 10-1, 19-9, 3-2, 4-2, but 8-3, 9-5. So I mean, he's not fighting absolute cans before he got to the UFC, and you can tell. So I think he's fought the better competition. Nazim, Sadykhov, he beat Terrence McKinney as well. Vakislav Borshev's a really good striker, but we know he's not the most complete mixed martial arts fighter, as we recently saw over the weekend. He lost to Tom Nolan, which in just a strictly striking fight. So beat Evan Elder, who I think is pretty good. But other than that, I mean, not a lot of high-level guys that he's beating. So I think that Bonfim is fighting the better guys, definitely has more experience, more than double the fights that he has. Both have really good takedown defense, but I do feel like Bonfim is the better finisher on the ground, and I just think that he has the higher chances of finishing Sadykhov wherever this fight goes. And I think if it goes to a decision, he's going to have done enough outpointing him on the feet, defending takedowns that Sadykhov brings, and just doing enough to get the win on the scorecards. These guys are both super tough. Like I said, I think they both have really bright futures. I don't see a finish in this one. I see Bonfim getting the win by decision. Odds -145 Bonfim and +120 for Sadykhov. So yeah, this is pretty much a pick 'em fight, but I got to go with Bonfim in this one. Really hasn't shown any chinks in his armor other than that Benoit Saint Denis fight, which he was supposed to win according to the odds I'm looking at right now. He just didn't look. Something was off that night. I don't really know, but he just didn't look right when he was on the ground. So I'm gonna chalk that one up to a fluke. But I'm gonna go with Bonfim in this one, winning by decision. Let me know what you guys think. Appreciate you watching.